Good morning, guys. We are back for another Friday morning live.
Woo! Happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for coming on in and checking us out here on our Friday morning live. We are starting a half hour later than normal, as per requests from viewers. So hopefully, everybody it's a better time for everybody tuning in here at 8.
That's right. So today we're talking about the power of affirmations. This is a topic that Dorothy and I really enjoy because it's pretty much how we live. So we've got lots to tell you about in that regard. We have a couple things that we're going to start off with, and that will be a book. Do we have a product?
No.
Hey, how are you?
Good morning. I have no idea what he means by that. That's why I gave him the blank stare.
We have thought about a product for you guys, but I think we're just going to go with the book.
So should I start by talking by my book?
Well, let's see who's in here first.
Okay.
We got Susan that jumped in here.
Hello, Susan.
And then we have Louise.
Good morning, Louise.
Morning, Shauna.
Good morning, Shauna.
Chantel.
Good morning, Chantel.
And Hilda.
Good morning, Hilda.
Morning, Mom. So, yeah, lots of people coming in. Let us know if you think this is a better time for you or if you like the earlier time. It looks like we already have more people right from the get-go, so hopefully this is a better time for you guys. And we can try other times. It doesn't have to be this time. We just thought we would. What did we decide? 7:30 we thought would be a good time so people could tune in before work.
Mm-hmm. Well, originally 7:30 was working out pretty well, but then I think as the weeks went on, it got a little bit more difficult for some to tune in at that time. So last week when we asked, it seemed that most of you would prefer a bit later at 8, which is fine. Fine for us.
You get to sleep in the next half hour.
That's right. So just let us know if this is better for you at 8. And if so, we'll try again next week at 8. We do like to find a time that is good for everyone so that we can stay consistent so it's not flip-flopping every week. So if 8 is working and you like that time, just let us know and we will keep it at 8.
That's right. So, what else we got? Dorothy, I'm just going to pull something up here. You talk.
Okay. Drew's distracted. So this morning we are talking about the power of affirmations. And since Drew shared a book last week, I thought I would share one of the books that I'm reading right now. It's called The Thank You Power. And the Thank You Power, of course, talks about giving thanks throughout your day and how it can make changes to how you see things, I suppose. So the author goes through a series of different stories, I suppose, throughout the book of people's lives and how the power of thank you has changed their life and brought more positivity into their life. So one of the stories was of a girl or a woman who lived in New York City, and she was always in a rush getting to work in the morning and never really happy. She would wake up and just kind of drag herself to the subway station and get on the subway station and just wasn't really in a good mood in the morning, wasn't happy, didn't particularly enjoy her job. But then after using the power of thank you, she started noticing different things on her walk to work, for example, that made her happy. So that was one of the things that they talked about in the book is no matter where you are or no matter where you're walking, you pick out certain things that you're thankful for. And it's not just like, the I guess, typical or normal ones, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but a lot of times we just repeat the same ones over and over and over and over again, which is fine. And top ones are like shelter, food, home, family, which is fine. Like, we should be grateful for those things, but she talks about picking out the small things. So this one lady in the book, one of the things that she picked out on her daily commute was in the subway, there was this man who was always there playing his music. And she had never even noticed this man before, but as she started thanking and being grateful for this man being there playing his music in the morning, because she said he was really good and she enjoyed his music. He was there every day. And she just couldn't believe that, how that opened up her eyes to seeing all these beautiful things that were around her that she had never seen before, because she was in that kind of tunnel of misery or ungratefulness. And I just thought that was so true. If you look around and point out all the things that you're grateful for throughout your day, the more positive things are going to be attracted to you. And there was tons of examples in the book, different like case studies, different stories. Like, for example, how she describes how when you give out thank yous, then positivity comes back to you and gratefulness comes back to you. And she said it can be simple as she did a case study with waitresses, and one of the things that they worked on was one of the groups didn't write anything on the check. They just gave the check to the customers, and the customers paid. And then the other group in the case study wrote thank you on the check and gave it to their customers. And those customers tipped higher than the ones that didn't get a thank you on their check. And then the third group in the case study didn't just write thank you, but they wrote like a personalized little message on, like, just small personalized little message on their check. And they even tipped higher. So just like those little things throughout the day, saying thank you to others, being grateful for others, that power of saying thank you, and that gratefulness will come back. It's like circle. Comes back to you.
I think there's a higher vibration in those words. Like they mean more, and there's more energy around them. So I think people would be more willing to give, for example, like when it comes to tipping, or to be more grateful themselves for the service. When you have those, you're surrounded by those types of words in general.
And it changes the whole outlook on your day. I shared my book, The Secret, I don't know, in quite a few shows past that I was reading. And one of the what do you say, the authors or the people being studied in that book? Interviewed. One of the men being interviewed in that book said, as soon as I open my eyes and as soon as my feet touch the floor, I'm saying thank you, like when he wakes up in the morning. And it just became so routine to him. Like, as soon as he touches the floor, he starts thanking for everything, being thankful for everything that he has. And he says it just is in his routine. He doesn't even, like, of course he's thinking about the power of thank you, but as he's doing it, but he doesn't have to think about doing the routine anymore. Yeah. It just like he's so much happier in the morning, sets his day up for success.
Yeah, I think I was reading that happiness, or something about joy. What's that book, Dalai Lama, that I'm reading?
The Book of Joy.
The Book of Joy.
It's actually called The Book of Joy.
And the Dalai Lama talks about doing that himself, and he said that those of us, like all of us that are human beings, he said the first thing that we can do is start off our day with gratitude, and that will change our whole day. And that's what he does. And I was like, well, I think we could all be a little bit more like him. Mm-hmm. So that's a great way to get things going in your day.
Yeah, and I just think how much energy, well, it seems to me that it takes so much more energy out of me to be like mad or sad or like all those negative emotions or ungrateful or than it does to be happy. You know, like when you're frustrated, when you're angry, when you're, it's like this vibration in your body. It just depletes you of all energy. But when you focus on the positive things and are grateful, it lifts you up. It makes you happier.
Good. And that's why we want to talk about this topic, because there's so many positives to it. Before we get into that, I wanted to just mention to you guys briefly that we went to our first Dodger game last night.
Well, our first playoff game.
That's what I meant.
First playoff game. We've never been to a playoff game before, and it was so cool. I'll let you talk because I talked for a long time already.
Oh, I just wanted to share a few pictures, but yeah, we thought it was blast, or we had a blast. There was so much going on there, and it's a different type of atmosphere when it's playoff time comes and it's elimination time. So usually we go during the summertime, and there's so many games in a season. It's not always as exciting, or the games don't always mean that much, but these games, they do. Every game means a lot. So it was super exciting. So I just want to pull over a couple pictures here.
And Dodgers won 6-0. It was so much fun. They were giving away these little towels, and it says "Let's Go Dodgers" on these towels. Maybe Drew has a picture of one. I'm not sure, but you use them in the air, like in what's this motion called? Waving?
Waving?
You wave them in the air like this. And the whole stadium is doing that. It's crazy to look around and just see blue. Like, just sea of blue. It's crazy.
A sea of blue.
And they're so good at getting people involved and pumped and cheering. And there's so much going on. We sing, right? There's all these, like, there's songs to sing. There's claps, like different cheers and claps.
Let's go Dodgers. That's one of them.
There's our little towels.
There's the towels, and that was when we first got there. We didn't know we were getting something free, and sometimes it's cool when they're like, "Hey, we got this little surprise for you." So they gave us these towels when we walked in, and we're like, "Oh, awesome!" So of course we had to snap a picture right away. But it was a beautiful day, and we were super grateful. Speaking of the power of thankful, just to have the opportunity to be here at this time of year and enjoy the atmosphere, because it was amazing. It was very cool. Here's a picture of our seats here.
Yeah, the sun was shining. Oh, it was such a beautiful day. It was hot.
So that's what it looked like. The field was beautiful. The sun was shining. Everyone was excited. It was the first real playoff game of the season. So, anyways, we wanted to share that with you because we had a great time.
And Dodgers fans are intense, aren't they?
Yeah, they're serious about it. They're serious about Dodger life. Yes, Sean, it was a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh, and I just wanted to mention that I have some books too.
Oh, he had to get in on the book action.
I wanted to show you my books.
You had to show one.
I'm not going to... I just finished... I'm still working on in between the...
Joy.
The
Book of Joy.
Book of Joy. Still working on that. And then I finished another one, and I'm going to start another one. A new one, but I haven't decided which one. I've read... what's this one? The Paulo Coelho. Does anyone know that one? He did...
Alchemist.
The Alchemist. Yeah, super famous for The Alchemist. And so I'm thinking about picking that up, and then these are more like business types of books, like how Starbucks got to be this giant, whatever they are. Giant. Easy. Giant in the industry, and how they started, and this is what you can learn about business from sports leaders.
Ooh, that's a cool one.
Of course, that's right up my alley. So... let me know which ones you guys think I should read.
You know what's interesting is Drew can read from many books at the same time. Like, one of the books that he enjoys reading from is, what's the orange one?
Tools of the Titans.
The Tools of the Titans. And he'll read just like a couple of pages a day or a few pages a day in that one. Then he'll switch to another book. Then another book in the afternoon. Then at nighttime another book. Like, you can read multiple books at a time. And I'm getting a little better at it, but for me... I'm more structured, I suppose. Like, you're just kind of looser and all over the place. In a good way, not in like a messy, like, destructive way. But I'm more structured, and I like to read from start to finish one book and then start another one. So it was I am reading two books right now at the same time. But it is more difficult for me to be that loose.
Well, for me, I've realized that I'm not really. It's not really a good idea for me to read business books in the evening.
Yes,
so
true.
Because it makes my mind go crazy. Excuse me. So business books are not really a evening thing. And then Tools of the Titans, Dorothy gave me that as a birthday present, and because I got it from the library and I couldn't put it down, I was all inspired. And it's basically the world's top leaders, like the best experts in finance, health, and I should know, but
we don't usually
entertainment.
We don't usually buy many books. We really enjoy the library, and we really believe in like passing. Like, books should be passed on, right? And Drew has bookcases of books that could be passed on. But anyway,
gets rid of.
But with the Tools of the Titans book, Drew was so into it. Like, he got it from the library, and usually we just renew books because when we go to the library, we're those people that get like a stack of books this high, can't even carry it home. But Drew got the Tools of the Titans here, wasn't it? Anyway, it's not important. He got the Tools of the Titans. He couldn't put it down, and then he's like, "I'm gonna renew this book," and he went to renew it, and it wasn't able to renew because somebody else wanted it, and he was so sad.
I really enjoy books when they're taken away from me. I'm sad.
Give it back. So that's when I knew that, like, he needed that to have that book. And there's a few books like that it's nice to have your own copy to have on hand at all times.
And that's what we want to talk about. This is related to the power of affirmations. Like for me, the Tools of the Titans it's important to me because there's tons of good information in there, but they're the world's top people in their industry, and I feel like we can all learn. Like I could learn something from every one of them. So every morning I'll read a couple pages from some genius who's been ultra successful, and I was like, well, if they've found success in their industry, they could help me find success in our industry as well. So that's why I start off. I feel like I get to start the day with like tapping into like a genius's mind.
Yeah.
So that's why I start the day with that.
Lindsay popped in. Hey, Lindsay.
We had morning, Lindsay. We had 2 votes for On the Ball, so I think no one else said anything. So, all right, ladies, I'm going with that one. That's my next one. I'm excited. I'm ready to start a new one.
Ready to start a new one. Did you finish one yet?
I finished the
money one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so when we talk about the power of affirmations, for us, affirmations are important because what goes on in our mind continually is what we repeat throughout the day. So Dorothy's pretty good at putting these affirmations all over the place.
Yes, for example, Lindsay and I just donated to it's kind of interesting, but it's like a lot. It's like a lottery, but you're donating to it's a crisis pregnancy center. So we wanted to support and make a donation to this what do you call it? Organization. But then you get like your donation is split and you get put into this lottery. So you get a number like a ticket, and I'm like, we're gonna win that. We're so winning that. So I took our lottery, like I call it a lottery ticket, but it's not really a lottery ticket. But I took our number and I put it on a piece of paper and I posted around the house with the winning ticket number is. But just putting those like positive things out into the out instead of being like, I never win anything. Because if you say I never win anything, chances are you're not going to, right?
Yeah, and that's something that, like, that's a mindset. The things that I never win anything. And we hear that when we give away our own prizes, so we don't want to put anyone down. But because sometimes people don't win actual prizes, but there's a lot of things in life that we do win. So if we talk about affirmations and changing our mindset, there's a lot of different things that we actually do win in our day and in our lives. So if we could see, like Dorothy's talking about her book, The Thank You Power. You just start to pay attention to or start to realize things that you do win or things that you are thankful for or grateful for if you have that mindset. But if you don't have that mindset, it's pretty challenging to see the things that you're actually receiving.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny how when you start putting out there certain affirmations and then you start to see things in a different way. For example, one of ours is that we put out there is that because a lot of us have so much emotion towards money and lack of money. So one of the ones that drew one affirmation that we put up daily is that money is everywhere. There's not a lack of it. Like it's everywhere. And then so on our walk to the library, or on our walk to the grocery store or to the beach or wherever, we keep seeing these pennies or these dimes or these quarters. Like every time we're walking, we see money everywhere because that is what we are putting out there. It's so interesting to me how you start to see things you wouldn't normally see, because before we probably would have just walked by a penny, right?
That's right. Morning, Liz. Liz just popped in here.
Hey, Liz.
And we got Jordan and Diane over here on Instagram.
Hey, Jordan. Hey, Diane.
Hi, guys. We haven't seen you yet. We got Liam. Hi, Liam.
Hey, Liam.
Jordan, thanks for joining us. We haven't seen you for a while, so welcome back. And everyone that's tuning in and out, thank you so much for being here for our Friday morning laugh. We always love this day.
Yes, Fridays are a good day for us because we get to wake up with you guys and hang out, and it's just fun.
So you mentioned the pennies, and I think that you bring, by using affirmations, you bring that whatever you're maybe looking for, maybe you want to achieve or obtain, you bring that to your consciousness. You bring it to your conscious level. So we talked about being things to be thankful for. Well, if you're thankful and grateful, it makes your life that much more positive. It makes it that much better. So when there's a lack of abundance, we think like, I don't have enough. And money's a big one. And unfortunately, we live in a world where our credit cards are maxed out and we have clothes in the closet that have tags on them, and we feel like we need to keep buying and buying when we don't need things. So we live in a lack world. So when we say like affirmation, like money is everywhere, and you're walking around, you see like pennies on the ground. It's funny. I mean, it's not going to change the penny's not going to change your life, but the mindset is going to change your life, because we literally get excited when we're like, oh, we manifested this little penny.
Woo!
And like some people might think that's ridiculous, but those things change your life. And I'm sorry.
I just have this little story to tell, and I want to tell before I forget. Do you want to finish first?
You already stopped me. Go ahead. Get in there.
So when this one time we were walking in the parking lot, or it wasn't the parking lot, it was parking right along the beach. So like there's parking, like the beach is here, and there's parking all the way up the street. So and we're walking up the hill, like from the beach, and there was literally like 30 pennies on the ground, like in one spot, like just like it was raining pennies. And I was like, what is going on? And I bend down and I start picking up all these pennies. And then I start thinking about how those pennies got on the ground. And because it was in a parking spot, I had to assume, I don't know if this is what happened, but that somebody just didn't want the pennies in their car. So they just like threw the pennies on the ground. Because literally it was like, just like, it rained pennies. The pennies were everywhere. And there I am picking them all up. Like, woo, jackpot, pennies! Pennies everywhere! And I'm putting them in my pocket. But it almost made me sad that somebody just threw the pennies on the ground. Because then, like, what is that saying about that relationship, right?
With money.
With money.
And there's a good chance. Like I'd be very surprised if you saw someone that was, like, wealthy in the money respect. That, like, someone who had a lot of money in the bank, I'd be very surprised if that type of individual would just throw pennies on the ground.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that type of person, like someone that might have a lot of money financially, like, they usually have a better connection with money and understand how it works. So they're not going to be like, oh, don't, like, throw a bunch of coins on the ground and be like, well, they're looking for a quarter. Like, well, that's not going to get me anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you have a better relationship with finances, if that's what you're looking for, we're going to be talking about other ways to find abundance in your life. But if you have that disconnection with money and you're literally throwing it on the ground, I don't believe that it's going to come to you as easily, because you're stopping the natural energy flow by being like, I don't want that anymore. You're actually stopping it from coming to you.
But I just had this picture in my mind of I'm like squatted down in the parking lot, like picking up all these pennies.
Chantel says money is everywhere. I like that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, put that up, Chantel. Mm-hmm. So something else like putting affirmations around the house so they're continually reminded. I'm looking at affirmations right there. Well, those aren't like all affirmations, but I'll flip the camera so you guys can see.
And I guess it's a good time to mention too, like the spot where you put affirmations. Like this is Drew's desk that we're at, so right on the wall by his desk, he has all of his affirmations up here. And for me, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, so my affirmations are on the fridge and in front of the stove and in the laundry room. So putting affirmations where that you are a lot of the day, or where you spend a lot of your time. So maybe it's maybe if you work at a desk, it's on your computer screen, or maybe what else is another example? If you're
I don't know where else. We don't have too many spaces. We don't have 12 rooms. Where would you guys spend a lot of your time? I think at a desk is a place in the bathroom.
We do have a bunch of affirmations on our bathroom mirror as well, because you're brushing your teeth or washing your face, and you see those words, and it's such a great feeling to be filling your mind with those positive messages. Then, because I feel like your mind, for some reason, and maybe it's a girl thing, Drew, you can help me out, but for some reason, our mind naturally leads to the negative. So we always have to be conscious of changing that around into a positive.
Our mind our mind naturally goes to negative?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's odd. It's such an odd concept, but I think it's true. I think it's a lot easier for us to go negative. Like, you can think of the news, for example. Sometimes people get enraged when I talk about how negative the news is. But then sit there and watch how much crime and how much disaster. They'll give you 3 minutes of something positive. Then back to the recent murder that just happened. You're we don't watch because it's so negative. But I think people thrive, unfortunately. We thrive. If you look at some type of post. Oh, it was interesting. So we told you about the Dodger game. And there was a guy wearing an Atlanta Braves jersey. And he was kind of playing up to the crowd. And he was like...
He did a really good job, because, of course, they didn't have any points. And Dodgers were up by 6. And he's working the crowd, dancing and playing it up. Continue.
Okay, that was a completely different angle that I was covering. But what I wanted to say was, when he started kind of yapping at the crowd, and they were talking back and forth, and then the Dodger fans booing him, boo. So instantly there were so many people attracted to that. It was anger towards him just because he had a different jersey on. And it was fun in a way, but some people, people behind us, were really angry at this individual. And it was almost like a domino effect. People would instead of watching the game, and the Dodgers were winning and doing well, so instead of watching the game, everyone's attention went to this. It wasn't long. It wasn't a long period of time, but it was instant. Our eyes just went to that, and there are people yelling and angry and arguing. And I just thought it was interesting, because there's so much positivity going on, and in an instant, our eyes just went straight to what was happening in a negative type of way. But we see that on social media as well. If someone puts up a post that is negative, sometimes they call it clickbait in the online entrepreneurial world, and they just put up something negative so someone will click on it to see what it's about. So I think it is natural to go to negative for whatever reason. So we have to continue to remind ourselves and find ways to be positive.
But what I was meaning is that guy at the game you were talking about, he attracted that. That's what he wanted.
Right.
And he got exactly what he attracted.
Yeah. He loved it. He had his phone out and he was recording.
Yeah.
And it was good fun overall, but they had security over there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And they had some, like I said, angry individuals, and people were drunk, and it was just it wasn't a great scene, but the guy did a good job. They were hugging some of the Dodger fans, so but it was still it felt like there was a lot of negative energy around that situation.
Yeah. I was like this. Drew's like, the game's over there. Watch the game, Dorothy. Do you see that guy? Do you see him? Stop pointing, Dorothy.
Dorothy rarely watches the game.
I watch lots of the game.
She watches everything else but the game. Let's see what we got here. We have a couple of comments. We love your comments. Put some comments on our post.
On our comment feed?
Yeah. In our post, we love to hear what you guys have to say, or what you think about affirmations, because they're so important.
And if you have a favorite one and you would like to share, we would like to hear it.
Yeah, let us know your favorite affirmation. Shauna said, a good friend gave me a book for my birthday, a book of positive quotes. It's wonderful.
Yes.
You know what? Christina Thomas?
Oh, yes.
she sent us. Chantel's mom. Chantel's in here, right?
Yeah, Chantel's in here.
Chantel just posted, and so Tina sent us this
calendar.
What was the name of it? Look at it every day.
Chantel could tell us because Chantel has the same one. Oh, yeah. What's the name of the little calendar, Chantel?
It's super famous. It's
I can't think of it.
Oh, it'll come to me. Or Chantel can tell us. But anyways, it sits on the corner of the desk in Olds, and we flip it every day. And there's a new positive affirmation every single day. So it's so cool to be able to see exactly, or to wake up and be like, oh, it's a new day. That's the new positive affirmation. Mm-hmm. Chantel actually posts them often online as well. Sometimes she posts them with complete truth protein bags.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which is so cool.
Seeing those.
So, Shauna said those are great calendars.
Yes, they are.
No, Lindsay. No.
You can tell Lindsay's my friend. Oh. Baseball is boring, but I really enjoy people watching. And you know what is... okay, this is getting a little off topic, but you know what is so hard about baseball is nothing is ever the same. It's like, well, this is the rule unless this happens. Or if this happens, then this isn't the rule anymore. And I'm like, how am I supposed to keep up with all of this stuff going on? I'm like, Drew, why did that happen? Because the rule says this. Well, that is the rule unless this and that, this 5 other things happen. And I'm like, that's how baseball works, though.
It's very complicated. It is. It's super complicated. But that's what's interesting to those that are baseball lovers, and it's the history of the game. And they brought out guys that played. They brought out a guy that was 60 years old, and he was he would break. Probably a little. And he was breaking records, and people the guy next to me would have watched him on TV, for example. It's the history and the records that were set by the guys before. We watched Jackie Robinson, 42. It's on Netflix. You guys should check it out.
Very good. I liked it.
And it's the history, but it's very difficult for someone that didn't grow up with it to be this is the game, because when you see the surface of it, you're like, oh, they're just standing there, not doing anything. But they're doing a million different things. And everyone has a different job. There's a ton of different coaches that are all doing something different. And all the players are doing something different. That they're all communicating in different ways, sometimes with hidden signals. And if you don't know that, there's so much going on while they're just standing there. And I think it's so challenging. If you don't grow up with it, I can totally and 100% understand that. It looks like they're just standing there if you didn't grow up with it. And I think you kind of have to grow up with it, because if you don't, it's so hard to learn. It's so hard to learn all the little things that goes on. I played my whole life, and I still don't know much of what goes on. So for someone that wasn't that involved, it's very challenging. So,
well, it is slower pace, wouldn't you say?
It's definitely slower.
Yeah. But I like watching at the stadium. My grandpa always watched on TV. And so baseball was always on the TV, and it was a snoozer on TV. Woo! But in the stadium, it's a whole different experience.
It's a whole different game.
Yeah,
it really is. Just to be there live and to feel that's why we were so excited to go to a playoff game, because the atmosphere is entirely different. People are more intense. There's more on the line. And the games are played. So there's so many games during the season, in the summertime.
There's 80-something games.
There's more than that.
No, that's what they said last night.
80-some home games.
Oh, home games. See, I only listened to half.
I think there's 167 games.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of games.
So they play all the time. So that's why in the summertime the game might not be that important. But they play all year for this right now. So if the Dodgers win 10 games right now, so they have to win 10 games, they'll win the World Series.
They're going to win 10 games.
And so that's what I'm saying. But it's so intense. There's only that amount of time. So this series is best of 5 right now. Right? Best of 5. So they have to win. Whoever wins 3 games first wins and moves on.
Anyway, Lindsay, when you come and visit us, we'll take you to a Dodger game. If they're playing, I suppose.
You have to be in season.
You have to be in season. You can experience Dodger Stadium!
Dodger Stadium's crazy. One of the oldest stadiums that they haven't remodeled yet. There's only a couple of Cubs Stadium and Boston Stadium. Anyways, you probably guys aren't a whole lot interested in more baseball talk. So. Shauna said those calendars are great. Oh, is that...
Because Chantal answered us. She said, Louise Hay calendar. Did I say that right?
Yeah. There it is. I thought...
Calendar of positivity.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we're talking about, and we got one ourselves, so it's very cool to be able to wake up. Sometimes I'm excited, like, I wonder what is the new affirmation today. So
Yeah.
very cool. Lindsay said that'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then Lindsay's also talking here. We're just pulling some comments on here, so guys, hang with us.
Lindsay says, my favorite morning affirmation, I am in charge of my happiness today, and I am choosing to be happy. That's a great one. You know which one I used for a long time was, like, I decide, it's much like yours, Lindsay, but I decide the outcome of my day, and it just puts the whole power into your own hands. Nobody else gets to decide. So, you know, I don't know.
Mailman?
Because you know, a lot of times we let without knowing, like we let other people affect the outcome of our day. We get crabby at the person who cuts us off on our drive to work, or we get upset that, I don't know, a bunch of million different
Someone
things.
was noisy last night.
Someone was noisy last night and I couldn't sleep. Or there's so many different things you could put your energy on. But in the end, you decide. You decide, like, what's the outcome of your day. So, this makes you feel really powerful, that it's in your hands.
Well, I mean, it is. And I think that if we understand that happiness is a choice, and I think success is a choice, and, like, your state of being is a choice. You get to decide every day. And when we put that control in someone else's hands, like, I'm having a horrible day because this happened. Well, I mean, how much can you control? And if you're not in control of it, then push it aside and focus on what you can control in your life, because we can always focus on the negatives or the things that drag us down, or we can focus on the positive. And that's why we're talking about affirmations, because that's what affirmations do. They continually remind you of the things to be grateful for or to be thankful for. I suppose it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Or continually remind you of why you're successful. Like that book I just read called, what was it called? The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. Amazing book. One of my favorite books already. And I've read quite a few. And it talks about what your success is. And your success rarely has anything to do with money. Sounds a bit contradicting as we talked about abundance and finding pennies on the ground and feeling successful. But it's the state of mind and it's the state of being. And you don't have to have millions of dollars in your bank or hundreds of thousands or maybe hundreds of dollars. Like one of the book mentioned Mother Teresa, for example, on how she raised millions of dollars for other people and didn't keep a dime. She didn't have any money. She didn't have any money on her. She always believed that God, her faith would prevail, that she'd have shelter and food, and that's all she needed. But so there's all kinds of different situations where we can find that it's not money. And we also know that money, if we get more money, it doesn't make us all that much happier internally. You're not like, you could be like, I just got a raise. And then a few minutes later, you buy a boat that you can't afford. And then your bills go up and you're back to the beginning. So it's definitely.
It is like this cycle, and I don't know like where it comes from or how it's evolved, but it's just this natural human cycle that is like you like get a better job, and then it reminds me. Sorry, I just got this mental picture. I was at a conference once, and the speaker was saying how you're always chasing the carrot. Like it was just this analogy he used, but it doesn't matter. Always chasing this carrot around. So at first the carrot is need a better job. So you're chasing this carrot around, need a better job to make more money. And then once you have the more make more money,
better job.
Then you need a better house. I need a better house, bigger house. So you're chasing the bigger house. Then you have the bigger house. Well, I need a fancier car to go with my bigger house. So I need a new car. Like you're always chasing. Then you get a car. Well, I have the house. I have the car. I need a wife or a partner. So then you're chasing that. And then you're married. You have the house. You have the car. And then it's like kids. Now you're chasing that, right? So you're always like chasing after this carrot. And it doesn't matter like how much money you have, or how big your house is, or what car you drive, or you're always going to be chasing it if you're not internally happy with your,
yourself. Well, there's nothing wrong with setting goals or achieving or wanting to have more. But if you don't find that happiness where you are, then you're going to always be looking for it somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're saying.
Yes.
And I think I really like the quote that will always stay with me. It says, "Wherever you go, there you are." Mm-hmm. And I think we go on vacations, we move houses, we move towns, and we think that our cities or provinces or countries, and we think that that's going to solve our problems, or that we're going to be happier starting fresh or starting new. But our problems are our problems. They're going to keep continually chasing us until we face them and make a positive change in our lives. Mm-hmm. We had a couple comments here. We had Amanda from Brazil. Good morning, Amanda.
Hey, Amanda. Nice to have you back.
Thanks for joining us. You're welcome to ask us questions or work on your English by commenting in our feed.
Anytime.
And we have, who else did we have? We had a couple other comments. Susan said, "I like yours, Dorothy." I'm not sure.
I think that was the I decided the outcome of my day.
Oh, yeah. It's a very good one. Susan said, "Peace of mind, patience for myself and others, understanding for those around me in situations." Mm-hmm. Very nice, Sue. If anyone else has any affirmations they like to share, let us know. We were talking about how we have them around the house, and one of the things that we think of is, I wonder what, like, if we have a friend over, like, I wonder what so-and-so thinks of those affirmations. And then the other one is that people always comment on the affirmations. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Oh my gosh, like that, it's so cool. Like your house is so peaceful. It's so positive. And like, I really love your affirmations." It's like the first thing people comment on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I know, because when we have friends over, we know, like, they're looking there and they're reading the... We're like, "Oh, I wonder what they're thinking."
One of the things I wanted to talk about was visualization, because it's so important to visualize the things that you want to attract in your life. And so visualization has a lot to do with the affirmations that we're talking about. So for me, I think the first thing that we do is we see things, like we see things in and around our environment and in our community. And then that translates to other things, like the thoughts that we think, for example. And then the thoughts that we think translate to the words that we speak. So if you're thinking positive things, you're seeing positive things, and positive things are going on in your mind, you're going to start talking about positive things. And then your actions are going to, usually actions come last, it seems, because there's a lot of times that we don't take action at all towards anything that we want. Many times we talk about it, we talk about how we want things or we don't want things, but there's no action towards or away. And so it's all a chain, it all connects. So visualization will help us understand or get closer to whatever we're working on in our lives. So we have, like Dorothy and I will have pictures of something, like pictures of something that we're working towards. It could be a beach house. It could be a happiness, like happy relationships with friends and family. And putting those pictures up continually remind us what are the things that we're working towards, what are the things that we already have, or working towards having a mindset of abundance as opposed to lack.
Yeah, and it can sound a little silly sometimes, but actually, like, picking out and believing that you already have it. For example, like, let's say it's the car. Like, you want this particular car. Well, go and pick out which one you want, have a picture of it, and, like, have that picture up in believing that you already own the car. So when you're visualizing, you actually visualize yourself sitting in the driver's seat, and your hands on the steering wheel. And you actually, like, see yourself and feel yourself driving that car and listening to the music and in that car, and you can feel yourself, like, grip the steering wheel and, like, feel yourself accelerate. Like, all those visualizations, like I said, it sounds a little silly, but that is what visualization, I guess, is the power of visualization, is that you already have what it is that you want.
Yeah, and it's fun.
It's fun.
I mean, you get to, excuse me, get a little dry throat. There's a little bit of yelling going on, cheering at the game. I was really trying to get on the big screen.
He tried so
I
hard.
was trying to get on the big screen. I thought I got a blue mohawk. I had a Dodger jersey on.
And the camera came right beside us.
Yeah, but the camera was behind us. And so they have these big giant cameras that could reach across the stadium. And the guy was behind us. So Dorothy's like, he's right there. I'm like, he's behind us.
I'm like, turn around!
She's like, you missed your chance. So he was behind us filming like the other side of the stadium. And Dorothy's like, he's behind you, get in front of his camera. So if you're in front of his camera, I'd be like this close and you wouldn't be able to see anything. It'd be too blurry. So anyways, Dorothy all night, she's like, you missed your chance. And I'm like, nope, I'm getting on. I'm getting on. Anyways, dry throat. I didn't end up getting on. There wasn't a happy ending there.
He visualized it though.
So, I completely lost my train of thought.
I don't know what we were talking about. Visualization.
Visualization. Can you guys help us out?
Where were we?
Oh, you know what was interesting? Like, I think it's fun to, you get to play. Like, you get to play and you get to have, like we talk about meditation a lot, and like meditation is scary to a lot of people because you're alone with your thoughts. And most of the time when we have problems or issues, we push them away and we never really address them. So when you sit there and you meditate and you think about what's going on in your life, or you try not to think about anything, these thoughts come in that you don't want to think about. I think that's what we're mostly afraid of. But when you sit, if you sit and think, and if you visualize, and if that's with your eyes closed, whether that's breathing exercises, or if you're just sitting daydreaming, looking outside at the ocean or the mountains or your backyard, you get to be your own boss. You know what I mean? You get to be your own. You get to make up whatever you want. What is that noise?
I didn't hear it.
You get to have, like, even in just that memory or in that moment, you can be whatever you want in that thought process. So if you took 3 minutes, for example, if you took 1 minute and you just thought about all the things maybe that you wanted in your life, and you were grateful for them, and you were happy, appreciative, and you got to, and you had them. If you believed you had them just for that moment, just think about how much fun that is.
Yeah.
Like, it's exciting. Like, I'm going to go, you could say, like, some people don't like the word meditation, so you can go, like, I'm going to go and think about, this is exciting things in my life. Mm-hmm. And you can go and make up whatever you want. So I think that when we talk about visualization, Dorothy's talking about driving the car, like, we feel that you can create the things that you want in your life, but if you don't believe that, let's just say for a moment you don't believe that, but go and have some fun, like sit there, have some fun with your thoughts, and enjoy just that moment of visualizing and believing that you have what you want.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to go back when you were saying about being alone with your thoughts, because it's hard. Yeah. And I think that, well, I know when I first started, it's a part of our morning routine now to meditate every morning, but when I first started, I would get frustrated with myself because I had a really hard time clearing my mind, and I would get so mad at myself for not being able to clear my mind. And remember that day we were meditating, and we were like 2 seconds into meditation, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't clear my mind.
She's like, I'm having a hard time clearing my mind.
But I think that part of the process is embracing those thoughts as well, and letting them come in, maybe putting them in a little box.
Why are you laughing at my solutions? I've given Dorothy solutions and she just puts me down for them.
I'm not putting you down, but I think I do like the idea. This is what I do. Drew does it differently. But I actually let the thought come into my brain, and I picture it. Sounds so silly, but it works. Like the thought comes into like the one side of my brain, or one side, and I let it flow through, and then I like picture it. I thank it for coming, and then picture it going out the other side, like a flow, like a wave, like
cloud.
A cloud. I picture it as a wave, but maybe cloud's better. But this cloud that floats in, but then floats back out, and I think that helps too. And you have to be patient with yourself as well, because it's not going to be perfect. Some days are way easier than others, but just accepting those thoughts as well, and actually giving yourself some time with those thoughts before you even go into your meditation or your visualization.
Yeah, I'll share with you the box thing. So I think we all like if you meditate, I think we all go through this process of like you sit down and usually like all these negative things come in if you're going through a hard time or there's a situation or there's a person. And I think that I like to have fun with my visualizations. Like
Obviously.
I like to have fun with everything in life, but I like to have fun with my visualization. That's why I said like it's so like invigorating when I sit there and I think like I get a chance to sit there for a few minutes and think about all the things I want in life, and they're fun. It's fun. It's exciting. Like just thinking about, and it's just for a few minutes. So I break up my meditation in. Used to be 3-minute segments, and now it's 5-minute segments. And one of the 5 minutes is thinking about all the exciting things that I want to achieve in life. And it's crazy how it could change. It changes your life. It changes my whole day. But when something negative comes in, and there's a word for it. I heard about it from Anthony Robbins, and he talks about how you rewind a memory. So if you have these negative memories in your mind, you can, usually the negative memories when we picture them, and we picture thoughts, like we usually don't see words. We like see pictures in our mind. Mm-hmm. So usually negative situations, they're going around and around in your head, and it's like, it's usually dark and it goes fast, or it's angry, or it could go slow for you. It's usually dark, like black and white, for example, and it's like, when I say dark, I mean like cloudy and angry or frustrating, like those words that aren't positive and happy. So these negative thoughts or people continue to go through your mind, and you can rewind them. You bring them back slowly and rewind, and then you bring them back forward slower, and you put some color into it. And then if it was like your boss that was like yelling at you, you put him in like a giant clown suit, and maybe you like honk his nose. And this is an actual thing. So and you keep running it back and forth until it's kind of an entertaining or funny, or I don't know, maybe you flip it around. Someone's making fun of you, maybe you make fun of them. But not in a revenge type of way, in a fun type of way. But it's an actual thing like that they teach to help you get rid of negative thoughts and emotions. So for me, I was just like messing around one time, but I have these if I have a negative thought or situation that runs through my mind, I put in a little box. Because there's so many things, like our mind is crazy. So you sit down and you think, and there's like tons and tons of things going through your mind, and a lot of them are happy, good things. Hopefully they're happy and good, colorful things. And then you have these, this is my mind here, I'm explaining, and then I have this like negative thought that keeps coming in, like it's like floating around, and I'm thinking about positive things and it keeps coming back. So I put it, like I squish it, and I put it in a little box, and I push it to the side, and then if it doesn't, and then so it's right down here, I'm like, you stay there.
Like a pet. Just stay there.
Just stay there. And I think, and Dorothy thinks I'm crazy. But this is how I do it. And then sometimes I squish it.
Like a bug.
But it works. It's crazy. And I'm like, sometimes I'm sitting there, like, visualizing. I'm like, I wonder if that's going to come back. And it doesn't, because I've put it in its place, and I've pushed it to the side, and sometimes I'm like...
Oh, it's funny, because sometimes if we're, like, talking throughout the day and something negative comes up, put it in the box!
Maybe more than you wanted to know. But if you have lots of thoughts, maybe you could make them smaller and push them to the side.
I really like the rewind, like that whole thing, like rewinding it and the negative thought and making it something positive, like putting it into play again, rewind it, put more things into it.
Make it fun, and I always think of the clown thing. Like I have some memories of some thoughts when I was younger of like authoritative figures that were, and I feel like things are a bit different now, but I think that's why I talk to kids as adults. Like when I work with kids or talk to them, I speak to them as adults, not as little kids, because I felt like at a younger age in some situations I was talked down to, and that really bothers me. And so some of these memories I have, these big giant figures are funny clowns in a clown suit.
And you go,
that's my nose.
I honked it. Like the clown.
No, thank you. So they're these big figures, and they have like big feet, and they have like big noses and big hair, and so it's funny now. When I think about them, it's funny because they're ridiculous. They're not like this big giant mean figure anymore. They're like, because now I'm a grown individual, I feel like I've grown up in different ways, so that doesn't bother me anymore. It's actually funny. In the non-honking nose type of way. Thank you. We have a couple of comments here. Suzanne jumped in here. She said, hey guys, hey, don't worry about being late, Suzanne. Come whenever you can. Thank you for joining us. We had a couple other ones here. Putting negative stuff in a box really works. Thanks.
It does, yeah.
It's very, it works for me. I think you guys should try it too if you haven't given it a shot. It makes a big difference in your day. I don't know where I heard that from. Chantel said, do something today that your future self will thank you for.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And then we had, Shauna had one here. Come on now.
Another one. Mama, get out of bed and start your day. That's another, yeah.
That's a good one.
Good one from Shauna.
Yeah. So what else we got?
For today?
From you.
For me?
From you. Oh, I was just talking about visualization. I think regardless of like what you believe or, I think I'd imagine that you guys wouldn't be tuned in if you didn't think that affirmations are a positive thing in your life or that could change your life. But I'd imagine from the outside, some people would think like, that's just hokey or it's not really going to work. But
well, I think that we all kind of think that way a bit. Like when we first start out, like you're a bit skeptical, you're not sure, sounds a little hokey, but if you just start out with small steps, like Drew was saying, like he started out with 3-minute segments and then worked your way up. But even if you just start with a minute, and just sit down for a minute or out of your day and had some quiet, like a quiet minute, just for yourself. And for me, I like more structure. So like when I sit down, I have a structure to my meditation where it goes through gratefulness and then visualization and then manifestation. So I just like order and structure. That's just how I am.
With everything.
So like you can sit down and maybe just take a minute to think about what you're grateful for. And just start slow, and then you can build on from there, because it is a bit overwhelming at first, and can take some time to get into it.
Yeah, and I said 3 minutes, like you could start with, and it doesn't matter like what your beliefs are. It could be prayer, it could be breathing exercises, it could be meditation. There's a lot of different things it could be, or you could label it whatever you want. But I think just sitting down and finding a reason to be thankful or finding a reason to be grateful will make a big difference in your life. So that's kind of why we're talking about this. But just getting started out in some way, and it could be as simple as the gift that we were talking about with Chantel and Tina. Like if you have a little calendar to flip every day, you're going to see something positive. And a lot of times we don't have positive things in our lives, and we need to continue to find positive things and surround ourselves with them.
And I often call it like a timeout. Like, and timeouts have like this negative, what do you call them?
I don't know,
connotations to it. Meaning that you've done something bad, you go to a timeout. But when I was teaching, we did timeouts a little bit differently, and it was recognizing that you needed a moment alone. So you go and you take a timeout. And it was interesting with the kids because they would actually start to recognize in themselves that they needed a minute alone. So they would come to me. We had a timeout corner, and it was a bit different because they would recognize that they needed some time alone and needed some space. So then they'd say, I need to be alone, or I need to give myself a timeout. And in the little corner, like it was just really like basic little things. Like one of the steps was take 5 deep breaths. And one of the things was, how do you like picture, I always told them to picture in your head how you want your day to go. Or like just little things like that. And it was just so interesting to see how just 5 breaths could change like the whole outcome of the situation, or just like a few minutes like to themselves and removing themselves from a stressful situation, because I know that it was grade 1, but it was stressful for them at times, but removing them from a stressful situation just for 5 minutes alone can make a huge difference. And I don't think it's any different as adults either. Like if we
No.
can just remove ourselves from a stressful situation or something that's not so positive and just take 5 deep breaths or go somewhere quiet and alone for a second and really think about how you want the outcome of your day to look like.
Yeah, and I think if kids can do it, we can do it too.
Yeah.
But it's funny how young they are and they know. Like, they
Yeah.
know, like, I need to have a timeout. This is
Yeah.
going to make me feel better. But it was the same thing with exercise, when you did it with the kids. Like, they knew that if you missed exercise with them, that they're like, hey, they reminded you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, like you get pressured like a lot as a teacher to get through like all of your daily events and your curriculum, your routines. So sometimes, you know, even though I knew it wasn't a good thing, I'd be like, let's see if we can skip something out of our routine today, because we did breathing exercises and workouts and stuff every day. So sometimes I would try to like skip a part of the routine, and they'd be like, you forgot this. You forgot we didn't do our breathing exercises or whatever it was, or stretching or whatever it was. So that was interesting as well.
Shauna says positive affirmations can truly change your
train of thought and help you refocus. Deep breaths, very helpful.
Absolutely, Shauna. Thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah, they're so important. And I think if you're doing them, like if you're an individual that works on affirmations and works like I don't know what the word is, self-love, self-care, and it really is just, many times we feel like we don't, and I think when we say we don't have time for these things, I think we're really saying we don't feel like we deserve it. And that's a powerful statement, because that will change your mindset to be like, oh my gosh, like I really think that. And I mean, you don't put those two together. If someone says, I don't feel like I don't have time for something like that, and then we might say, well, why don't you deserve that time? They say, oh, it's not about that. It's not about me not deserving it. It's about the time that's within the day and all the things I have to do. And we would say, no, it's not. We would say it's about the things it's about the priorities in your life. It's about taking time for yourself. And it's about giving yourself a few minutes to be grateful, thankful, to visualize something positive in your life. Because there's so many things, like we said, like it could be the people, it could be your own family members, it could be the people at your work, it could be the drive, the news, social media. Like it's negative. So if you don't take the few minutes out of your day to be positive and appreciate what we have, then your day's not going to be as positive as it could be.
Well, and negativity is all around us, unfortunately. Like we were talking about, it's in the news that we often is blasted in our house from the morning. It's in the newspaper that we see scattered around at work. It's like on social media, even like on our bus ride to the Dodgers game yesterday, like there were like the people surrounding me, there was so much negativity. Like we're on our way to the Dodgers game, it's like fun, it's exciting, but then these clouds of negative energy is around me, and like I can't like put the blame on them because they don't know any different, right? Like, so I can't like say, oh, their negativity is ruining my day. But I have to take the responsibility, like we do, like have to take the responsibility ourselves to find the positive and decide what outcome that we want to have in those situations.
It was funny that we were sitting in two different areas of the bus, and we got off the bus, and Dorothy was talking about the people that were talking about negative things in their life. And then I was sitting in a different area, and then there was 3 girls, and they were all like chickens. They were like, muck, muck. And they were all like, they weren't even talking. They weren't listening to each other. They're all like, yeah, yeah, like talking about how their lives were like miserable. Like they're all like, it was crazy. They're like comparing stories. They're like, they weren't talking.
Trying to outdo each other.
It was crazy.
My story's worse than your story.
Yeah, and I was sitting here and I was like, they were so loud and you couldn't not hear them. And I was like, my gosh. But that's what we talk about, how like we're naturally attracted to that negativity, and we have to find positive things. So like, could you imagine if someone was in that conversation, they changed the subject? And I often do, and like when we're out in different situations, and people are like, they like don't know what to do. They like stop and they like freeze. And some people like are offended and kind of walk away, which is a good thing. And then some people will try to figure out what's going on, and then they'll join in the positive conversation. So you should try it sometime. It's kind of entertaining. But if you don't do that, like you could walk away. Like, you want to tell them briefly about the negative situation and what I told you to do? Not really.
I don't remember.
So,
I'm okay with it.
There was a situation where Dorothy was like, this certain individual would be using curse words in a professional atmosphere, and they would tell stories that were less than professional, and Dorothy didn't know what to do because Dorothy's Dorothy, and she doesn't have many mean things that go through her life.
My body.
Her body. So Dorothy couldn't be like, shut your mouth. I'm just kidding. But Dorothy really didn't know what to do, so I was like, walk away. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, as soon as she starts swearing, walk away. And then, I can't do that, that's rude. And I was like, it's rude for her to use those words in front of you, especially in a professional environment. She's like, or she would like tell a story about drinking the night before, or whatever it is. And I was like, just walk away, see what happens. See what happens.
Shouldn't talk to me anymore! She needs to go find someone else to talk to.
And that's what negative types of people do. And like if it's not you, like if they're not like excited to, like those type of people that just like radiate negativity, like negative stories and negative life, like they'll go find someone else who will listen to them. So Dorothy just started walking away, which I thought was hilarious because it does work. Like sooner or later, people will get the hint. Like, oh, like they'll either change. They'll be like, oh, maybe I should say more positive things, or they'll go find someone else to be negative.
Yeah.
You know what the thing is for me? When we were starting out in fitness classes, people would say, "Oh, I can't do that," and I was like, "I'm sorry, those words don't work in this atmosphere." And they'd look at me funny, and then they'd say it again, like in another situation, like maybe the next day, like, "Oh, I can't do that." And they'd say, "I'm sorry, we don't use those words here." So you can say, "I'm not able to do that yet. I'm trying to do that," but those words are so powerful. And so those type of people would either change their words when they would come into fitness class, or they would leave and they wouldn't come back, which is fine because we were building a positive environment. And I know how important that is to people that are trying to change their life in different ways, because we couldn't allow any negativity in our atmosphere. And the same thing if people were talking about negative things in class, I would change the subject in some way because we understand the importance of it. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're talking about like attracting those type of people. So you can change that, and if you're one of those people that continue to work towards negative things, you can change too. Like you can make positive changes to find better things in your life to talk about or to be attracted to. And it starts with affirmations, and it starts with visualization and being appreciative of the things in your life. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? One thing that I didn't realize was that standing there and listening or whatever I was doing, I was participating in those negative actions, right? Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't just stop there. Like, I would continue to think about it. I would bring it home and be telling Drew about it. Like, it didn't stop at that moment. It kept carrying on and carrying on and carrying on, but it wasn't her fault, like the other person's fault. It was my own fault for putting myself in that situation, right? So by just walking away from the situation, it's like it's putting out there that you're not accepting that into your life.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was a good point. Sorry, we have to say goodbye to Instagrammers. Oh, they cut us off.
They cut us off?
You said we had a minute left, and then I just stopped.
Sorry, Instagrammers.
There was a couple people watching. Sorry, guys. Hopefully they'll come over here. If you guys ever check us out on Instagram, we're always on. We don't almost never go live on Instagram without Facebook. So we're on Instagram. That's Drew Tadia or True Form Life. That's our account there. And then we are Facebook.com/True Form Life. This is where we always are. So we do apologize if that ever happens to you, but technology, that's how it works. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was interesting how you said like we participate in that. Because we do. Like if you allow that in your life, you're participating. If you accept that in your life, you're participating. So when you go to the office and you go to the coffee room, what do you call it? The lunch room?
Yeah.
Or the water
staff
room, whatever you're going to, and you're there, and people are talking about all these negative things, and you're not doing anything about it. And I mean, being there, leaving, or changing the subject, you are participating. And if you don't leave, or if you don't change your environment, that's going to affect you, usually negatively. So that's why it's so important to find positive people in your lives. And that's what we talk about. Like, we have our monthly membership, that it's so positive. Like, we wake up every day to an affirmation, to someone talking about working out, to someone saying about how grateful they are for the group, or for a workout, or for food. Like, that's what we surround ourselves with. And that's why it's so important for us to build a supportive group online, because there's so many negative things going around. So especially on social media, but in life in general. So if you can find a supportive group that can lift you up instead of drag you down, then you're head above shoulders than so many others that are surrounded by negativity. Suzanne said, I have a friend that's very negative, so I pray for her. That's awesome, Suzanne. Good for you. And I think that there's those things that we can do. Like, we can do those things. Like in that Tools of the Titans I was reading there, one of the affirmations was to sit down, or one of the affirmations, or one of the breathing exercises is to pick 3 people and think good thoughts about them. So if you take 3 minutes, and for 60 seconds, you find one person. It could be a stranger walking down the street that you saw. It could be a friend, family member, someone you haven't thought of in years, and think good thoughts about them or for them for 1 minute.
Yeah.
I think we can all do that, and that makes ourselves feel better as well, not just them in some other way.
And I think, I don't know where I read this, but it was talking about how judgmental we are as human beings, and we are. And, someone walks by us and that we don't even know. Like, a stranger will walk by us that we don't even know, and immediately we start judging them. And a lot of times it's not positive. So in this book, it was saying that when those negative thoughts come into your mind about somebody else, like, you immediately have to turn it into a positive and find something about that person that you like about them. Like, even if you don't know them, right? Yeah,
and it's we train our brain to do that. Yeah. So it's natural or we've taught ourselves when someone walks by to be like, oh, well, why are they wearing those high heels, for example.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I laugh because I didn't expect them to say, why is she wearing those high heels?
Well, whatever, I don't know.
Oh, so like somebody would walk by you and be like, oh, why does he have blue hair?
That's right. And then, but I think that when you think that, like, you're telling more about yourself than you're telling about others.
Right.
So if you think everyone's judging you, it means you're usually judging other people. So I think if you train your brain, like, to understand that not everyone's looking at you, not everyone's staring at you, not everyone's judging you, then you can stop your focus on them.
You know what my dad used to tell me, and it stuck with me? He's like, nobody cares. Like, it sounds so harsh, but it has lots of truth to it. And he never said it in, like, a mean way. But nobody cares what you're doing. Like, they don't, you know what I mean? The only person that cares is you. So you think that everybody around you is looking at you or judging you, or like, what are they talking about, like, about me, or whatever it is. But they don't even, like, care about, they're like doing their own thing. The only person that cares about that negative stuff is you.
Well, it's the same thing at the gym. Like, you go to the gym, and you could be new, or you could be going for years, and you think, like, everyone's looking at you, and everyone's staring at you, and everyone's judging you. But nobody cares. Like, go to the weight section. Like, men are the worst in this situation. But go to the weight section and you see those big muscle-bound guys. They're staring at themselves. Or see how many people are taking pictures of themselves, or taking pictures of, like, or taking videos of themselves working out. Like, they're not looking at you. They're looking at themselves. Flip through your newsfeed and see how many times people point a camera at something else these days. Like, everyone is so self-absorbed, and it's all about, like, what's going on with ourselves instead of about what's going on with other people. Mm-hmm. So if you could understand that no one really cares, maybe it'd probably be a bit easier for you to understand that everyone's not judging you, and you don't need to be judging them either.
Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say about that. Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump's one of our favorite movies. We've watched it a bunch of times. If you've seen Forrest Gump, well, I think most people have, but if you haven't, in the beginning there's this like little feather that floats up into the sky. Like it's this white little feather floats up into the sky, and at the end, it floats down from the sky in the beginning, and in the end it floats up. Anyway, we were riding our bikes on the Strand the other day, and the white feather from Forrest Gump like floated down and got stuck in my basket. I was like, Drew! Forrest Gump! White feather!
Dorothy was like, she was all excited about this little feather. And it was a feather, and it was like stuck in her basket. And of course it was going to fly away at any moment. So she's all excited. She's like, oh, there's the feather. And then it like flew away like a few seconds later. She's like, oh. And I was like, what did you think was going to happen?
I thought it was going to stick there till we go home.
Yeah, that was enjoyable. Morning, Jessica. Thanks for joining us. And so today we're just talking about affirmations and the positivity and putting affirmations around your house and the thoughts we think. And there's a lot that we covered. We're just going to wrap things up here. We're just over the hour mark. So I think if you guys have any questions around affirmations or any comments, we'd love to hear them before we wrap it up here. But if you guys start to work towards positive affirmations in your life, it'll be life changing without question. And those of you that haven't tried it yet, just give it a shot and see what it's like. And those of you that have, like we've had people comment, like Chantel commented and Shauna commented, and I think Hilda commented on things that can be more positive, that the people that know, that have done these affirmations or do them regularly know what they can do for your life.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was going to say something, but it left me as you were talking. Can't remember.
We'll just pull over some comments here. You want to read?
Different colors of feathers that cross your path mean different things if you believe in that stuff. Oh, what does white mean, Jessica? It was a white feather. That is cool. So cool. I would like to know that.
I'd like to know that too. Tell us.
You know, like, people think sometimes I'm a little crazy, but like, I do believe that like different beings mean something different, mean different things in your life. Like, for example, there's this butterfly that always follows me around, and like it might not be the same butterfly.
It's not the same butterfly.
You think it's that crazy? But I'm like, every for lots of times when I come up from my run up the hill, like that butterfly is always there. And even though I'm not truly sure like what that butterfly is trying to tell me like right now, I know it has a meaning. And remember that crow that followed me around? There's this crow! And it would always meet me on our back deck. And I would, days and days, I'd go out onto the back deck, and as soon as I'm out there, this crow, he'd come, and I said, Drew, the crow, he's trying to tell me something. And Drew thinks I'm completely nuts. But I believe that this crow was trying to tell me a message, and although that maybe I didn't get the message at that time, it came through at a different time. See, you think I'm nuts.
Oh, no. I would believe something like that, but Dorothy was like losing her mind. Like the crow was like eating some food like outside on the deck, and she's like, he's looking at me. The crow's looking at me. He's following me around. And I'm like, you need to relax. You sound like a crazy person.
I'm like, he's back. He's back. He knows I'm home.
Chantel says, I'm the same way. People will think what they want. Oops, sorry. People think that what they want, but it doesn't have to affect me. I dress comfortably, not what is in style. So does Dorothy, Chantel.
What do you call it? Dorothy style?
Dorothy style.
Dorothy style.
Dorothy will often wear like, you don't do it so much anymore. Now you just wear like fitness clothes, but sometimes Dorothy will wear like combinations that are so bizarre.
But they're comfy.
Dorothy, she'll wear like a professional. What do you call them?
Blouse.
Like a professional. Isn't blouse like a?
Oh, you mean my top
Yeah.
and my bottoms?
Yeah. She'll wear like a. I don't know what you call them. I don't think you call them blouse.
A dress shirt.
A dress shirt.
Yeah.
Like a professional type of dress shirt, and then she'll have like yoga pants on.
But it was comfortable.
And I'm like,
dressy on the top, relaxy on the bottom.
I'm like, you can't wear that together. It doesn't work. And she's like, it's comfortable.
I don't care. But you know what it was too is that it was it was when I was teaching, and I was just so exhausted. Like thinking back, I just can't even fathom the level of exhaustion I was, like day after day. And anyway, that's a different story. But with the clothing, it's like I just could not make one more decision. Like my decisions were like maxed out. So I didn't even think about making decisions about clothes. I just threw on what was comfortable.
Which was clear if you saw them.
And it didn't matter to me. It didn't matter what I was wearing because I was comfortable.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes Dorothy would get back from work and she would just put on she would leave her dress top on and put pajamas on.
I would.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
And I said, I only have the energy to put my bottoms on. I didn't get to the top yet.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Dorothy, so it's okay, Chantel, wear whatever you want and just be like, this is Dorothy style. She wears these compression socks while she's running now, training for her half marathon, and she'll put capris on.
With my compression socks.
With compression socks.
Who thinks it's hideous?
I'm like, no, Dorothy, no. And she's like, what? What's the problem? I'm just no.
Says the guy with the blue mohawk.
That's right. I'm okay with it. You can look. So Jessica said you can look into different colors on Google.
Okay. I'm going to look and see what white means.
And let's see here. You're not a nut,
Thank you, Suzanne.
Yes, she is, Suzanne. And Chantel says, I see butterflies and I think this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Ah, I like that. And you know what I recognized? I wasn't going to share this, but I am now. Getting a little personal, but whenever I see a butterfly, I think of one of our good friends who passed away not too long ago, just a few years ago, and we were really close with, and it was a really really tough time when she passed. But every time I see a butterfly, it's like getting a hug or getting a kiss, like she's coming in and saying hi. Every time, like I'm thinking of her or I'm doing something that reminds me of her, a butterfly comes. I'm like, there she is.
Suzanne says, I'm with you. I wear my running shoes with my formal dress at my daughter's wedding. Oh my.
Because it's about comfort.
How did your daughter like that, Suzanne? I think you should wear whatever you want. I'm okay with it. It's
it seems like it's difficult for him to say that, doesn't it? He had to push the words out. I'm okay with it.
I have a blue mohawk. I can't really comment too much, and I think that people should like when I see someone wearing bell bottoms or they're looking funky, and there's a thing now we're at the beach and they have people are wearing all these crazy colored roller skates, old school skates. I'm like, yes, that's awesome. Free yourself, and so. But then I think of some of Dorothy's outfit combinations. And it's so hard for me to say. Most of you should free yourself.
I'm not Dorothy! But it was funny because I saw these compression socks and they were funky colors and funky patterns. And I was so excited and I showed Drew and he's like, no.
Oh my gosh! I just pictured they're a bit hideous. I just picture Dorothy running down the street or the strand or the beach with these funky socks, and I'm like,
I think it suits me though. The funky socks.
I'm not against them. It's all you can do whatever you want. I don't even care.
I don't even care.
Just.
I think white feathers are a love message from heaven. I'm not sure exactly. Would have to look it up. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, well, I would never heard that before. I'd like to look it up too. I would be interested in hearing what they mean. Yeah, I don't know if I have much else. Do you?
Chantel says Dorothy style. I like it.
I already pulled that on. Then I removed it real quick.
I like sweet stuff.
I'm just kidding.
Suzanne doesn't think I'm a nut either.
Well, they're lying to you.
I don't think so.
Tell the truth.
They're on my side.
Tell the truth, ladies. So I think we should wrap things up.
All right.
I think we talked for almost an hour and a half. That camera will probably cut off soon.
Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, if this was a better time for you guys, then we'll try this time again next week.
Yeah,
Okay.
we didn't have the numbers. Excuse me, the numbers are about the same. Oh, Louise.
Yeah.
The numbers were about the same, so we're not really sure. Can you guys let us know in the comments if you guys like this? We started at
8, right?
No.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes, 8.
We started at 8, so if that's a better time, can you guys let us know in the comments? And if it doesn't change or no one really cares, we'll probably do 8 again. Yeah, so Louise says, love funky colored compression socks. Louise, do you have some of your own? Let's see some pictures. Let's see what you got. We have our brand new, well, not so much brand new, I think our 10th episode. Crazy how quickly it's going by. We have our 10th episode of Day in the Life coming up tomorrow morning. So tune into that. It's up on our YouTube channel, trueformlife.com/
YouTube.com/trueformlife. And we always put a little snippet on Facebook with the link. So if you're unsure how to navigate to the YouTube channel, you can get there through the Facebook link to the YouTube channel. Excuse me. But it's always great if you can subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, we greatly appreciate that. And then hitting the thumbs up button, the like button, and commenting helps us out as well. So, and sharing the show with friends, with family, on your own Facebook page, like on your personal pages, always helps us get more exposure as well.
Yeah, so we appreciate that. Thank you so much. We do notice sometimes we haven't asked for a live, I'm not sure why, Friday morning live to ask, but we noticed that you guys have a handful of you tune into Cooking with Dorothy on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So we so much appreciate that as well. And then we ask sometimes to share that show on your Facebook page. So when you do that, we really appreciate it. So thank you so much for sharing our show with your family and friends and our audience as well. Mm-hmm. So we have our YouTube one. What else we got?
We do have Cooking with Dorothy again. Well, we're moving on. We're doing, though, a brand new series. Yeah. We're doing a brand new series on pumpkin. So starting this Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we are doing pumpkin recipes for the next 6 shows. So for the next block of 6 shows, it's going to be all pumpkin. So we have pumpkin muffins, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin granola, everything pumpkin.
And we also, what Dorothy did is she put together this PDF. So we posted that last night on the True Form page. So it has all the recipes. Dorothy put together 10 amazing recipes that I got to eat for like the last 2 weeks. And the pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, I'm telling you. We have pumpkin granola, pumpkin protein balls. So much. So all you have to do is enter in your email address so we know where to send that. Otherwise, people are, I don't want to enter my email address. You'll spam us. And I'm like, well, how are we going to send it to you then? So we need your email address so we can send it out. And it's an automated system. So when I first started, I manually sent out hundreds of these in the past. So it just makes things easier on me. And if you don't want to subscribe to our emails or our newsletters we send out each week with our most current information, then hit the unsubscribe button. It's not very challenging.
Right.
So we have, Suzanne said, have a great day. Love you guys. We love you too, Suzanne.
Love you too, Suzanne.
Thank you so much for your support. Suzanne has been using CTP, or Complete You with Protein. She bought Detoxify herself, and she shares all of her stuff. So we couldn't be more grateful for you, Suzanne. Chantel said 8's good. Shauna says 8's good. So I guess next week we'll go with 8. Mm-hmm. And we'll see if that...
See how it goes.
See how that goes.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think
YouTube.
so.
We have
Pumpkin, YouTube.
Yeah, we have our monthly membership. If you guys are interested in more details, if you're not, good handful of you guys are. We have Louise and Chantel, Shauna. You guys are part of our monthly membership. We're so grateful for you guys to be a part of our. I think I said Chantel.
Oh, sorry.
To be part of our exclusive group online. So if you need more details about our monthly membership, let us know. We can definitely set you up. Dorothy does meal plans, recipes, grocery shopping lists. We do at-home workouts and support. And if you're looking for that positive environment, positive community, then that's what we have to offer, probably more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then, of course, we do have Complete Truth Protein. You can use it in smoothies. You can bake with it. And a great way to energize. So if you're needing a little energy boost, adding CTP to your smoothies or to your baking is going to give you more energy. It's going to help improve your digestion as well. So if you haven't already tried CTP and you would like to try some out, we'd be happy to give you more information on CTP or to help you get your hands on some. So we deliver locally. We also ship, but we're always open to helping you find the best one for you, because we do have one product for smoothies and one for baking. And if you are currently using CTP and need a refill, we'd be more than happy to give you a refill as well.
Shauna says, enjoy your day. Get on that new surfboard, Drew. You know it, Shauna. Gotcha. I already had that planned. Fridays are for morning lives. They're for naps. And they're for surfing.
The battery is flashing on our camera, so we should probably say goodbye.
Okay, let's wrap up. I'll just flip over here.
Flip over?
To this camera.
Okay.
Thanks, Shauna. Thank you. See, that's why we face the camera this way.
Yes.
Let's take one shot for social media. Okay.
In our doctor shirts.
Ready? Oh, we gotta look there. That's going up the next time we advertise.
I actually did a nice one.
Oh, thank you.
One.
All right, guys, we're out here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.
You guys have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is this weekend.
Yes, Canadian Thanksgiving.
So
happy Thanksgiving, Canada.
Yeah, if you're looking for a healthy treat or healthy dessert to bring to Thanksgiving dinner, then definitely check out our 10 quick healthy pumpkin recipes. We actually have a wonderful pumpkin dip in there that you can dip apples into. Oh my, so delicious. Very few ingredients. And we have the cookies that Drew had mentioned would be great to bring along with you for a Thanksgiving dessert. So check that out.
All right, guys, take care. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.